When you first open this document, you'll notice these blue lines. These blue lines set apart the area where you're not supposed to paint beyond the edges. If you want to turn them off temporarily, you can click on View, go down to Show, and select Guides. And that'll turn those off temporarily. I'm just going to do a very quick paint job so that I can show you what the next step of this is. So I'm going to select the brush tool. It's already set to 15 pixels, which is kind of a small brush. So I'm going to tap the bracket tool, which is right underneath the backspace tool, backspace key on your keyboard, to increase the size of this. And I'm just going to do a very quick coloring of this. One other thing I noticed that a lot of you are having problems with is when I saved this file, I forgot to turn on the color layer. So you see these two eyeballs right here? This turns off and on the view of the layer. So I'm going to click right next to the color and turn the eyeball on, and now the color is on there. Here's what happens if you don't turn that on. You can start painting in here and notice how nothing's happening. Whenever this happens, the first thing you need to look at is right here. Very curious thing happens though. Notice how it did paint on the layer even though the layer was not visible, because that's the one that I have selected. So when I turn this on, you'll see everything I've painted. And again, it has left the black layer alone, and I'm only painting on the color layer. So again, I'm just going to do this very quickly, just so that you can see one other thing that I forgot to mention yesterday. I'm just going to do a very quick painting of these documents. So this is a document that is in the process of being painted. You have to remember, as I mentioned yesterday, that you have to save your progress work every single day to your computer. So I'm going to assume that I took a long time to do this, even though I obviously did not. You can see how much more space you can cover with a large brush. To make the brush smaller, by the way, tap the left bracket tool or key, which is underneath the plus and equals tool, to get the brush smaller, to get more fine details. So once again, at the end of the class period, there are two things now that I want to do. I'm going to do File, Save as PSD. I'm going to make sure to add my name to the end of the file in case you didn't do this yesterday. So I'm going to do my first initial last name, underscore P1. And again, the underscore is achieved by holding the Shift key down on your keyboard and tapping the minus key. Your computer may look different and may act differently than mine because I have a laptop, whereas you have a Chromebook. But you can save it on your desktop so that you have easy access to it. And then the next thing that you want to do at the end of class, when I say to everyone else who's not working on the computer, when I say to everyone else, please take a minute to take a photograph of your artwork and put it on your slides. In this case, what you're going to do is you're going to go File, Export as JPEG. You'll see this window come up. Here's where you can change the name of the file. It already has the information on it because I did a save as a PSD file. But if you had to change this for any reason, you could actually put that information in here. And remember that P1 stands for period 1. So if you're in period 2, 3, 5, or 6, put that number there instead. And please remember to put your first initial and last name instead of mine. When I save it, again, you're going to come up with this dialog box. It's already saved because I did a save as a PSD file. Now I'm exporting the JPEG, so I'm merely going to click Save. And then I'm going to take that JPEG and put it in my slideshow. And I'll show you that in another video. For the time being, just save it, and then I'll show you individually in another video how to put it in your slideshow. But basically, it's the same way that you put photographs in with the image.